Have you ever felt that there is something inside you that makes you different from others, as if your intuition is a silent signal coming from something much bigger? There are those who walk through life with an unusual sensitivity, with a look that goes beyond the visible, and with feelings that seem to capture truths that others ignore. If you are one of those people, this video is made for you. Today, we're going to find out why some Pisceans are considered rare souls, and how their date of birth can carry powerful meaning. There is a specific day when the universe not only blesses, but also entrusts certain individuals with a special mission. A day when fate and sensibility align in an impressive way. But before we move on, comment now in the comments on the mantra that will strengthen your connection to the cosmos. I am guided by the universe and fulfill my mission wisely. This mantra will activate your inner energy. You may not know it yet, but there are forces around you ready to guide you. In this video, we will reveal what this extraordinary day is, who are the most spiritually connected Pisces, and why Pisces is the sign that closes the zodiac with the promise of wisdom and healing. Now that you know the purpose of this meeting, let's understand why the universe has eyes on Pisceans and how this sensitivity can transform not only your life, but also that of those around you. Imagine that, from the moment of your birth, invisible forces began to guide your steps. This is not a coincidence, but a matter of purpose. The universe does not choose everyone, but when it does, it is because there is something great to be done. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiacal cycle. It represents the combination of everything that was learned by the previous signs. It is like the closing of a book that brings together valuable lessons from each previous chapter. Therefore, Pisceans tend to carry an intense emotional and spiritual charge, almost as if they were living more than one life at the same time. People born under this sign are not only here to exist, but to feel, perceive, intuit, and teach. They often pick up on nuances that others overlook, and this can feel confusing at times, but in fact, it is a gift. If you feel that the signs around you have hidden meanings, or that you can feel emotions from places or people before you even talk to them, know you are answering a call, a silent summons from the universe to accomplish something greater. Pisces is not only the last sign of the zodiac, it is the one that most carries the depth of human experiences. Being a Pisces is like living with an emotional antenna always on, capturing vibrations, feelings, and even desires hidden in the looks and gestures of others. While many look for answers in reason, Pisces feels it. Where others see the obvious, Pisceans perceive what is in silence. This sensitivity is a gift, but also a responsibility, because seeing what others don't see can be a burden when the world isn't ready to hear. Pisces represents the fusion between the physical and spiritual world. It's like having one foot on the ground and the other in subtle dimensions. It is no wonder that so many people of this sign shine in areas such as art, music, healing, and spirituality. They don't just create with technique, they create with soul. The symbol of Pisces is two fish swimming in opposite directions. This image represents exactly the conflict and beauty of the Pisces. One side dreams big, the other tries to stay in the concrete world. Between these two poles, powerful ideas, emotions, and intuitions are born. But most notably, Pisces doesn't need words to understand. The Pisces feels the truth, and therefore has the power to transform pain into beauty, chaos into healing, and the invisible into fulfillment. Now that we understand the unique nature of Pisces, let's find out what gifts the universe offers to those born under this sign, and how these gifts can be used to light up the world. Those born between February 19th and 22 already arrive in the world with a keen perception. These people feel the emotions in the air, even when no one says a word. They have a kind of emotional radar that captures truths hidden in the subtlest details. They are the natural intuitives of the Piscean cycle, beings who do not need explanation intuition to understand. It is common for these souls to have constant forebodings. They see beyond the surface and can identify what is behind human attitude. This sensitivity, when well directed, makes them great counselors, artists with emotional depth, and even facilitators of energy or spiritual healing. Often, from a young age, they face the feeling of being out of place, as if the world does not follow what they feel. But it's not isolation, it's perception, and the key is to recognize that this characteristic is not a burden, but a power. These Pisceans vibrate with the collective unconscious. You are attuned to what is yet to happen, and because of this, they find ease in fields such as intuitive art, spirituality, counseling, therapy, and even leadership by inspiration. His biggest challenge: do not absorb the pains of the world without a filter, because they feel too much. They can confuse other people's emotions with their own. The practice of self-care and the cultivation of inner silence are essential. Between February 23rd and 26th, those who carry a very clear emotional mission are born to alleviate the suffering of others. These people radiate a serene empathy and compassion that is felt without words. Being next to them is like being in front of a safe haven. These Pisceans have the rare ability to listen with their hearts. They understand what was not said. They know exactly what to say or when just to be present, to calm a conflicted spirit. Many follow paths related to health, social work, psychology, or alternative therapies. But even outside these areas, they act as natural healers because their presence is already therapeutic. His gift lies in transforming pain into growth. They don't avoid emotions. They welcome, process, and transmit love. Therefore, they have a unique ability to motivate people to start over, even in moments of deep discouragement. But this light they carry requires balance. Many times, they give so much that they forget about themselves. They feel responsible for carrying burdens that are not theirs. And that's where his great challenge lies: to understand that helping is not sacrificing, but serving with balance. These births also have a strong connection to humanitarian causes. Emotional justice moves them. They defend the vulnerable. They fight for inclusion, all with a firm tenderness, which never loses focus on the greater good. If so far we have known sensitivity and the ability to heal, now let's talk about another rare gift of the February Pisces: creative genius. Those born in the last days of the month live in constant contact with a world of ideas that most cannot imagine. Pisceans born between February 27 and 29 do not walk by traditional logic. They create their own way of seeing the world. They are the true visionaries of the sign, people who carry a fertile, almost magical mind, capable of conceiving innovative ideas and transforming imagination into concrete realities. They live surrounded by mental images, unspoken ideas, stories not yet written. For them, the line between dream and possibility is thin. This ability to visualize beyond immediate reality makes them great artists, designers, inventors, and trendsetters. They don't just imagine, they believe what they imagine. And because of this, they manage to generate real impact. Many of them have their own aesthetic, a unique signature that sets them apart in everything they do. They do not follow formulas. They create new ones. However, his challenge lies in keeping his feet on the ground. With so much mental activity, they can get lost in the immensity of their ideas and end up frustrated when reality does not keep up with their creative speed. They also run the risk of abandoning projects before seeing them flourish. It is essential that they learn to channel this creativity with discipline, that they establish routines that respect their internal rhythm, but that also bring structure to the realization of their ideas. These Pisceans are like inventors of the soul. Intuitive and daring, they open doors that others didn't even know existed. When they believe in themselves and put their talents into practice, they become agents of change in any area where they work. Pisceans born between March 1st and 5th carry a rare type of firmness. Unlike the emotional softness of the first days of the sign, here a force emerges that does not let itself be easily shaken. They are people with a decisive energy, who face challenges with determination and a keen sense of purpose. They have a natural nose for identifying possible paths, even in the most adverse situations. situations. It is as if the faith they carry propels them forward, even when there are no guarantees. This quiet courage sets them apart as entrepreneurs, leaders, and environment changers. Contrary to the stereotype of Pisces who lives in daydreams, these natives are practical, focused, and highly resilient. When they make a decision, they hardly back down. They combine sensitivity with rationality, becoming strategists guided by intuition, a powerful combination. His biggest challenge, however, is perfectionism. Sometimes they demand too much of themselves and expect the world to keep up with their internal rhythm. This pressure can lead them to burnout. Learning to trust the timing of things and recognize your own achievements is an essential part of your path. These Pisceans show that it is possible to dream with your feet on the ground. That intuition and discipline together are capable of building remarkable and lasting trajectories. Between the 6th and 9th of March, Pisceans are born who radiate clarity. They are naturally inspiring people with a rare gift for motivating without having to convince. Its presence carries a serene force that instigates transformation and movement. These individuals are great communicators. They know exactly how to touch the soul of those who listen to them. Whether through speech, writing, or artistic expression, they can transmit messages that echo for a long time. They have a subtle charisma that connects, brings together, and comforts. They are often seen as spiritual leaders, natural teachers, or social activists. But more than positions or functions, what defines them is their ability to make others believe in themselves. They do not lead by imposition, they lead by vibration. Despite this natural glow, they need to be careful not to overwhelm themselves. By absorbing the pains and expectations of the collective, they run the risk of forgetting their own needs. Finding a balance between giving and preserving your energy is essential to keeping your light on. They also have a tendency to be impacted by criticism. Because they are so attached to what they feel, negative opinions can hurt more than necessary. Developing a solid sense of self-affirmation is the antidote to this. These Pisceans are like lighthouses. You are here to remind the world that hope is real and that every human being carries within him or her a dormant potential that can be awakened. Between March 10th and 14th, Pisceans are born who are not satisfied with just beautiful dreams. They want to make them come true. They have a strategic mind, capable of organizing abstract ideas into well-structured plans. It is the perfect junction between imagination and logic. These people don't just think about what could be, they think about the how. They are great planners, with a long-term vision and a special ability to see opportunities before they are obvious to others. Technology, design, applied science, and creative business are areas where they often excel. One of their greatest assets is knowing how to adapt their talents to concrete contexts. They create solutions, systems, proposals, and projects that actually work. Intuition is still present, but here it is directed with clarity, with purpose, with execution. However, these Pisceans also face dilemmas. As they seek consistent results, they can become too demanding. Sometimes they want everything to happen perfectly, forgetting that mistakes are part of the creative process. Another trap is isolation. Because they are very focused on goals, they can distance themselves from the emotional connections that feed their souls so much. Maintaining a balance between productivity and personal life is essential. They are the ones who build bridges between dream and reality. They show, with their way of acting, that it is not necessary to choose between the ideal world and the real world. It is possible to live in both at the same time, if there is a purpose. Between March 15th and 19th, we find Pisceans who stand out for seeing possibilities beyond the present. They are restless, creative, and tireless minds in the search for different solutions. They are rarely satisfied with ready-made answers. Their natural impulse is to question, experiment, and transform. They defy standards. Where most see routine, they see room for innovation. Where there are limits, they sense gaps to evolve. They are the inventors, the conceptual artists, the entrepreneurs of new ideas. They are always a few steps ahead of their time, which often makes them misunderstood at first. Their sense of freedom is non-negotiable. They cannot stand being framed in traditional models. They seek spaces where they can express their individuality and create impact in an authentic way. This originality leads them down unexplored paths, opening doors in areas such as technology, cutting-edge science, activism, and experimental art. However, this innovative spirit also carries challenges. They may feel out of place or frustrated when the surrounding environment doesn't keep up with their pace. Anxiety for quick results can be an obstacle. Learning to trust your own time and cultivating patience are important keys to your flourishing. These Pisceans show that evolution happens when you dare to see the world in a new way. They are not afraid to make mistakes, nor to start from scratch if it means following their true vision. They are the ones who don't just think differently, they live differently. There are dates that seem to carry a unique vibration, and March 7 is one of them. Born at this very moment in the Pisces cycle, these individuals possess an almost superhuman sensitivity. Your intuition doesn't just guide them, it defines them. These people perceive subtleties that escape most. They sense when something is about to happen, read environments effortlessly, and can access wisdom that seems to come from another plane. They are like receivers of invisible signals, interpreting energies, emotions, and movements with almost inexplicable precision. Many report that since they were little, they feel a strong connection with what is beyond logic. They are dreamers, yes, but with an unusual focus. They are not dispersed in reverie. They are attentive to what others do not notice. This makes them born counselors, energy healers, inspired artists, or scholars of spiritual and scientific topics. In addition, their ability to make decisions without relying on visible data is often impressive. They rely on presentiments that are often confirmed. This gives them prominence in areas that require intuitive leadership, such as psychology, spirituality, the mystical arts, and even visionary entrepreneurship. But this keen sensitivity also brings challenges. They can absorb other people's emotions very intensely, and if they don't learn to protect themselves, they end up wearing themselves out. Developing a routine that strengthens your own emotional boundaries is essential. Another important point is that because they live in tune with such a high vibration, they can feel out of place in very rational environments. They need spaces that value what is unique about them, and when they find them, they shine with incomparable intensity. Those born on March 7th are not common. They are souls with a clear calling. They didn't just come to exist, they came to transform. And when they accept this call, they become beacons of awareness and change, capable of inspiring thousands around them. On the border between the end of Pisces and the beginning of Aries, March 20th holds a unique energy. Those who are born at this point of transition carry traces of closure and beginning at the same time. It is as if these people were guardians of the cycle, with one foot in the past and the other in the future. They combine the Piscean sensibility with the courage of the next sign. They are deep, but they do not get lost in daydreams. They act with purpose, but never leave empathy aside. It is a powerful combination that generates individuals with a strong sense of mission and an enormous desire to transform realities. They are often compassionate leaders. When they take a stand, they do so wisely. They know when to act and when to wait. This skill makes them apt for mediation, social leadership, human development, and other areas where sensitivity and firmness need to go hand in hand. The challenge here lies in the oscillation. Because they live between two such different signs, they sometimes feel internal doubts about which force to follow. This can lead to indecision or anxiety. But when they find a balance between intuition and action, they become agents of change with great power of achievement. This last day of Pisces closes the zodiacal cycle with strength and purpose, and those who are born in it carry with them a clear calling, that of being bridges between worlds, between feeling and reason, between dream and reality. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and that's no wonder. He carries carries within himself a little of everything that came before. It is as if you gathered the experiences, learnings, and pains of all the other signs to transform all this into silent wisdom. It is the sign of surrender, of faith, of sensitivity that crosses words and gestures. The Piscean soul is marked by a deep connection with the invisible. She feels what is not said, realizes what is behind the masks, and welcomes what others reject. Therefore, many Pisceans are considered old souls, not by age, but by consciousness. They have an intuition that goes beyond reasoning and live as if they know that there is more beyond what is seen. What moves Pisces is not ambition, but transcendence. The desire to touch something greater, whether through art, spirituality, care, or compassion. They are people who love without measure, give themselves without asking for anything in return, and see beauty in the details that the hurried world usually ignores. This sensitivity, however, can take a toll. Pisces absorb emotions like sponges. They suffer from injustices that do not concern them and often hurt themselves trying to save others. The key is to learn how to channel that empathy without getting lost in it. When they develop healthy boundaries, they become pillars of light in the midst of chaos. They're not here to go with the flow. They are here to remind the world of the importance of feeling, to stop, to welcome. They are poets in a world that often prefers noise to listening. And his presence, even silent, transforms everything around. Pisces' talents flourish in fields where sensitivity is valued. They are dedicated to activities that require intuition, creativity, and compassion. This includes art, music, cinema, literature, therapy, spirituality, integrative medicine, and everything that seeks to heal, inspire, or uplift. In art, Pisceans express emotions in a unique way. They can translate complex feelings into simple forms that touch the heart of those who see or hear. Many are musicians with a keen ear, actors with visceral delivery, or writers who create entire worlds in a few words. His art doesn't seek applause. It seeks connection. In the field of healing, Pisces stands out for listening without judging. Alternative therapies, psychology, holistic medicine, and community work are paths in which they feel fulfilled. They have a rare ability to understand the other even before he speaks, and this generates profound transformations. In addition, their connection with the invisible makes them naturally attracted to spiritual areas. Many Pisceans find purpose in philosophies of life, religious traditions, meditation, astrology, and energetic practices, not because of fashion, but because they feel in body and soul that there is something beyond. In more rational environments, such as the corporate world, Pisces can feel out of place. But when they find companies that value purpose, creativity, and social responsibility, they can flourish as inspiring and empathetic leaders. The secret is to be in environments that respect your rhythm and values. A crucial point is that Pisceans need to believe in what they do. If they feel that their work is empty or disconnected from their essence, they quickly lose motivation. When, on the other hand, they find a clear purpose, they are tireless. They dedicate themselves with passion and become a reference. Pisces' talent is not common. He doesn't scream. He doesn't demand a stage. He thrills, transforms, elevates. On whatever path they choose, Pisces needs to feel that they are being useful, true, and whole. We have reached the end of this dive into the energy of Pisces, a sign that cannot be contained in simple definitions. Throughout each chapter, we have seen that being a Pisces is much more than being born under a water sign. It is to live with your heart exposed, your eyes turned inwards, and your soul open to what is to come. Pisces represents surrender, detachment from control, the courage to trust in the invisible, even when everything around you demands certainty. It is the presence that welcomes, the intuition that guides, the sensitivity that heals. In a world where feeling has become almost an act of resistance, Pisces reminds us that living with the heart is indeed a legitimate path and necessary. Each person born under this sign brings a personal mission, but there is something in common among all: the search for meaning. Pisces are not satisfied with the superficial. They need to know that they are contributing, that their existence makes a difference. And when they realize this, they give their all. It is not an easy path. There are days of confusion, exhaustion, doubts. But there is also an inner light that never goes out, a kind of beacon that guides them, even in the most uncertain moments. And it is this light that makes them special. If you are a Pisces or have someone of this sign around, know that you are facing a rare soul who feels, dreams, and transforms in silence, who falls and rises with more faith than before, who loves without measure, and who, even wounded, continues to believe. This is the call of Pisces, to touch the world with delicacy, but with impact. And if you identified with this path, write in the comments, "I am the miracle that the world needs to feel." That's your mantra. It's strength. Your signature.